What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're here with another legit client success story, and I am here with Caleb Ulku, who's one of our premier clients on Legit, and he's agreed to give us some insight today and talk about his business and what he does and how he can help us. So thanks for taking the time to do this, Caleb.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate your time. Appreciate being on.
Great. So why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself, like your origin story, what you do, that sort of thing.
Sure. So I actually have an undergrad degree in chemical engineering. After that, I took a job with a major oil company. I actually worked for them for about 10 years. My wife also had a pretty intense job. So we had our first son. And when he was about 2 years old, I'd come home from work super late. We hired a driving nanny, someone to go pick him up from daycare, bring him home, and put him to bed because my wife and I couldn't make it before daycare closed. So one weekend morning, he walks up to me and he's like, I don't know, 2.5 years old, and kids that age can barely speak. But he walks up to me and he says, "Daddy, are you happy today?" And that was sort of this breaking point that, what were we doing? Like, we're just spending all of our time working, barely saw our own son. So that was when I decided, you know what, I'm going to leave this corporate job and start my own business. So that's what I did. That was in 2016. And my first plan was, hey, I'm going to start a business where I help companies learn how to run themselves better, implement processes, procedures, things like that. Coming from a major oil company, that was something I was incredibly familiar with. So I started going to Chamber of Commerce events and speaking with people. And every time I would tell them that I help them implement processes and procedures, they would say, "Oh, cool, but can you help me online? Like, I don't know how to do online things. Can you help me with online things?" So being a good entrepreneur, eventually I started saying yes to that question. And the first one that I really got into is search engine optimization, SEO. Landed a few clients in that. And I actually went on Upwork, got very good at landing clients on Upwork in the SEO area. Within a year or so, started landing clients like Skillshare.com. We did SEO for them, other big names, Adobe, Stanley Black & Decker, all from Upwork. So, that was that was the origin story, how I got into SEO, why I decided to go that way, and why I'm still primarily doing SEO.
Okay. So that's like your main business is client SEO, or what else do you have on top of that?
So client SEO is where we got started. And I don't know, I know, Chris, you've done client SEO at some point also. Client SEO is a great way to start because the cool thing about it is you get paid first, right? So if you don't have a lot of cash flow, if you don't have a lot of money coming in, then if you land a client, the first thing that happens after you land a client is they give you money to go and do SEO on their website. But at some point, I don't know, managing clients was never something I really enjoyed doing. I am ridiculously introverted. I hate talking to people, especially clients. And, eventually launched a training program where the goal was to help people learn how to use Upwork properly. Something like 97% of the people on Upwork who have a freelancing account don't make any money on the website. So it's a massive, massive failure rate. But there's a huge amount of money on Upwork. It's something like $6 billion every year crosses their platform from clients to freelancers. And keep in mind that's $6 billion, but there's only 3% of the freelancers who are actually making any money. So there are people on Upwork who are making insane amounts of money. And I actually built my SEO agency to 7 figures almost exclusively from Upwork clients and referrals from Upwork clients. So that was the goal, to show people, okay, when you go into Upwork and you start sending all these proposals, you're probably doing it wrong because Upwork requires a different approach than most other client getting methods, right? And, we always called it the ice cream truck method internally, kind of a cutesy name on it. And the big difference is, right, if you're talking to a business owner at the Chamber of Commerce, or you're sending a cold email, or you're running ads, the goal is to convince them of the value of SEO, right? You need to convince someone that, hey, SEO is going to bring you in more money than it's going to cost you. But if you do that with Upwork, they're going to ignore you because you're wasting their time, right? You have to keep in mind, they've already decided they want SEO. They literally posted a job on Upwork that said, hey, I need someone to do SEO for me. So the example I use, of course, if you've seen Wolf of Wall Street, there's the scene where Leo asks people to sell the pen to him. And the point of that is, if you try to sell a pen by talking about how great of a pen it is, you've lost the sale. That's not how you sell the pen. But on Upwork, you sell the pen by talking about how great the pen is, right? So on Upwork, you land clients by talking about what you're going to do from an SEO perspective, how you're going to manage their SEO engagement, the specific steps and processes of SEO, what you're going to do for them and why, which is not how you sell SEO on almost any other place that you would be trying to sell it. So for me, being not a natural gifted salesperson, being an introverted person, but if you want to talk about the details of how we're going to do an SEO engagement, I mean, hey, let's get on the phone and talk. I love those conversations because they're very, detail-oriented, technical, and it's very easy for me to convince someone that I know how to do SEO with that type of conversation. Very hard for me to convince someone that they need SEO. So I always preferred going to a place where they've already decided that they want SEO. So on top of that, and I got really serious about it at the beginning of this year, I have a YouTube channel. You can search my name, Caleb Ulku. And on that channel, I talk about SEO and Upwork and building an SEO agency.
Great. So the way I got to know you is through you using Legiit as one of our customers. And I've seen you on Facebook and your group and things like that as well. Can you talk about how you've integrated that into doing your SEO and how it's helped you? Any freelancers in particular you want to recommend, that sort of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I first got started in it, in SEO, I did almost everything myself. And, if you're first getting into it, not super familiar with it, I still recommend that as a way to get started, to do it yourself, because it's a lot easier to train people, to build a team if you've done it yourself first. But, there comes a time, and it's usually a handful of clients, something like $5,000 to $10,000 a month coming in, where suddenly, building a PBN, trying to do link building on your own. And I know Google keeps saying links aren't important for Google's modern algorithm. Yeah, that's the exact, go and look at the domain rating, the backlink strength of websites that are ranking right now today. I guarantee you, for competitive keywords, they all have really powerful links. Links are still incredibly important, no matter what Google says. But it's just very tedious to go there and do that yourself, and citations and doing press releases. So as I found Legiit, was recommended to me by a friend of mine, I started to shift a lot of those types of off-site aspects to freelancers on Legiit. So, you guys do most of my citations. I do have my own PBN, but Chris, as you know, I still buy quite a few links from you guys, you in particular. I still use some other services, but I would probably say 70-ish% of the links that I use for myself and my clients are from you in particular. And then, of course, citations, like I said. I mean, again, I could build the ability to do that in site, but I don't do citations often enough, maybe once every couple of months. So it becomes much easier just to outsource that to a trusted provider than keep those types of activities in-house.
And I assume since you keep using these, you get good results from them?
Yeah, absolutely. We recently launched an offer to plumbers where, we were using Go High Level's website builder. Okay. Like super simple to use, basically a drag and drop functionality. And we integrated the Go High Level website builder with ChatGPT. So we're able to basically write content for plumbers' websites and not spin, but basically use ChatGPT so that we were launching 20, 30-page websites with AI written content, but always a human editor, always a human editor. And, websites that 4 or 5 years ago would be $10,000 we were building them for $150, $200 of my costs. So we launched an offer to plumbers. It was $500 up front, and then pay per lead once you're ranked. And, we were just cranking these websites out. We got to 30 clients in a couple of months, because it's, a pretty hard offer to say no to. Mm-hmm. And essentially all of the links for all of those clients came from you. Used citations from Legiit, used press release from Legiit. And we had plumbing websites that were ranking in the top 3 in Raleigh, in Plano, in 4 or 5 months, just using those services, using AI written, human edited content, and websites that we threw up in a few hours.
Great. I'm glad you mentioned Go High Level, because I'm like a brand ambassador or something for them, and I get it for free if I mention them a couple times a month. So you just helped me meet that quota. It's a great program too. That's not the only reason I do that. It's a great program that we're going to integrate with in the future. But anyway, that's great to hear. I'll list the services that you like to use, if you're okay with that. I'll list the services I'd like to use in the description of this video, because I'm sure after people hear what great results you've been getting, they'll want to do that too. So that's that. So you also have a pretty active Facebook group, right? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so that's part of the paid program that we offer, that helps you basically start an SEO agency and then build it. The goal is for you to hit 6 figures in 90 days. We call it Consistent Clients for Agencies, and we teach you how to use Upwork to land SEO clients, and we teach you everything you need to know about the way we do SEO. And you can also outsource it to us if you want to, but if you don't want to, we have all the methods that we use. So we have, I'd have to go back and look, maybe close to 500 paid members. And then we have a free Facebook group that we have creatively named Consistent Clients for Agencies. I'm a super creative person, obviously, engineer in training. And that free Facebook group has a little over 3,000 members. And that's, we post in there a lot of information about, how to use Upwork properly, how to grow an SEO agency, a lot of links in there, not surprisingly, to my YouTube channel. And we have a free introduction training on the basics of Upwork and the basics of SEO. If you want to check that out, it's been pretty effective for, we've seen quite a few people have success just from the information in the free group.
Great. And I don't think I ever told you this before, but for 2 years, I wasn't getting served any ads on Facebook, no ads anywhere on Facebook, which was very odd. And then one day,
that is very odd.
They randomly turned back on. I was literally sitting there looking at Facebook, and then the ads, it refreshed and I had ads again. So it was very odd. But I bring that up because the very first ad I saw was for your group. It was a hot girl, basically, next to an ice cream truck. That was the first ad I saw when I got back on Facebook, when I started getting Facebook ads again. So that's how I found out about your group. And I didn't make the connection that you were the same person from Legiit until a little bit later. So
yeah, well, I have a unusual username on Legiit. Yeah.
So that's how I found your group, was that you were the first ad I saw, and it was a hot girl standing next to an ice cream truck.
Well, that ad performed very well for us. People people
love ice cream, and I'm sure that was the deal there.
Exactly.
Cool. Well, I know you're very busy. I don't want to take up a lot more of your time. Anything else you'd like to recommend or suggest or talk about before we wrap up?
Probably for thinking about an SEO perspective, and I mentioned that I'm getting more serious about this YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are very interested in how AI has affected and is affecting the future of SEO. So that's probably just something I would throw out there to mention real quick, because that is having a significant change in our industry. What are your thoughts on that? I'm sure you've thought about it yourself.
Yeah. A lot of debate about it. I think it's kind of dumb to assume that Google can't spot AI content, but I also think it's kind of dumb to assume that they think that they can put a stop to it too. So I think the key is to use it intelligently and not build 30,000 pages in a day and rub it in your face that you're that you're abusing their algorithm. So I think that's kind of the balance as far as AI content. As far as the rest of what it can do, God only knows where that can take us.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's an excellent point. And it's funny, Google actually updated some of their quality content guidelines, I think they call it. It used to say that they wanted quality content written by people that other people thought was useful. And they got rid of the part where it says written by people. So yeah, Google, as far as I can tell, doesn't care, isn't trying to police AI generated content. Even if they could, you can't. I mean, I think it's funny, you probably know too, Chris, OpenAI, the makers, of course, of ChatGPT, they used to have a tool that would tell you if content was AI generated or not. And they deactivated it because it was only accurate 50% of the time, which is basically the same thing as randomly guessing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Google's smart enough to know that the genie is not going to go back in the bottle at this point, and that it's something that people are going to keep using whether they like it or not. So they kind of adapted. And plus now they have their own. So like they don't want to tell people they can't use it. So there's that too.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Well, I will put a link to your YouTube channel in the description. If you want, I can put a link to your Facebook group as well. And there will be links to all the services that Caleb uses in the description as well. So
awesome.
Any last words before we wrap up?
Oh, it's been a real pleasure, Chris. I do appreciate what you've done. Legiit is an excellent platform. If somebody watching this hasn't used it before, definitely check it out. I've had no real bad experiences on there. The people on there have been excellent. And then, I know you always post about how great the support is. I can verify from personal experience. If I've ever had any issues with Legiit, there's something where I think I was using multi-login and proxies because of the GBPs we have under management. So I got blocked from being able to log into Legiit.
Right.
So I had to reach out to support, and it was resolved in, 18 seconds, where somebody responded immediately and said, "Oh, yep, we see you're a real person. Let me go ahead and unblock you." And so, yeah, it's just, it's an excellent platform.
Thank you. We appreciate that. That means a lot to a lot of people. And I will share that with our support team who don't get the recognition they deserve, in my opinion. So, all right. Well, thank you. I'll talk to you again soon. And yeah, that's it. Anybody else, do me a favor and subscribe. The YouTube courses I have taken told me that you're supposed to tell people to do that. So that's what I'm telling you to do. So please subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Peace.